Welcome to Geek Aloud on YouTube. Today we are having a look at a Let's Play for Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp on the Nintendo Switch. We'll jump into it. And so released a couple of weeks ago at the end of, or mid-April. Was the release date for it. Funnily enough, was supposed to come out in about the same time last year, March, April last year, but delayed. Around about the same month that it was due to release, the war or conflict between Ukraine and Russia commenced. So Nintendo obviously thought it probably wouldn't be the best idea to release a strategy war game that's loosely based in a European map, I guess, at the same time that there was actually a fairly publicised conflict occurring at that stage. So for those that don't know, it is a reboot of a Game Boy Advance games. So two titles on the Game Boy Advance combined into one package here for the reboot strategy title, where you have various units on your side, the orange or red, whichever one you want to call it. I'll go with red, and the opposition or enemy is the blue camp. So we've played through the tutorial, and I think this is the second or third level that we're now playing in the actual campaign itself. So Nell, she's one of the sort of advisors, I guess, but each advisor has a special skill set that they can use, like a special power that you can use occasionally while you're playing as well. So they will also give you tips and sort of some strategies and ways of dealing with what you need to defeat each map. And I assume the further you go into it, that eventually that the tips and how to utilise your units best is going to sort of start to dwindle away once you've got a fair grip on how each of them sort of work. So there's a couple of ways you can win. You can either capture your enemy's headquarters, or you can defeat all the enemy units on there as well. You can also capture parts of the cities as well. That'll go towards your points total, give you an overall rating at the end of each mission. As you can see, as your unit attacks, you get a little animated visual to go with it. Right, so I suppose the issue is going to be from here as to how we attack the choppers. Maybe I should have thought about doing that, although got some crackers. So there's various, you know, so obviously the enemies can attack you back when you attack them, but hopefully if you wipe them out quickly enough, I suppose, they won't have that ability, or if they do, the damage they do back to you is fairly limited as well, in terms of what they can do to you. I'm not sure that was the greatest manoeuvre, to be honest with you, because I reckon I'll put that artillery right in the way, which is probably not the best idea. So as I said, it's turn-based, so you get, you move your units, and it effectively works in a day cycle in essence. So once you've basically used up all your units, and you can see they go that darker shade of almost greyed out colour once they can't perform any more movements for that particular day. They shade out. So this is where I think I've sort of mucked up a bit, because that's the artillery, which can in general terms go and attack from long range. So I shouldn't have had that at the front, which is a bit of a mistake. But then yeah, it might have been a large spot of bother here, I reckon, because they're going to go and finish off that artillery piece, which was a bit annoying, really. As I said, there's clearly strategy involved in it. You've got to plan out your attacks, and if I had a thought of that a little bit better, I would have had that artillery piece back a bit further, so as not to expose it too much. And you can see I'm in a fair spot of bother here, I would have thought. And then we move to day 2, so my crack of the whip here. So if we jump onto this guy, so he should be able to begin to capture that. So it'll take one more turn for me to capture it, whether, I mean, hopefully I've got enough left to be able to do that. Although, and again, if you have a look on the right hand side, it shows you how much damage your unit will do, which wasn't a lot, only dropping it down by that small amount. Whereas that one's going to do 66, so that's probably a better option. But what we might do is attack there. We knock that one out, which is a handy start, it must be said. Move that one up there because we need to supply that chopper with fuel. And you can see there, that's not going to do a lot of damage at all. 1544 for that one, but it's still not great. I think we're sort of left with not a lot of choice, to be honest with you. I'm going to have to try and take out some of these to buy us a little bit more time, or at least one more turn to be able to get that, capture that HQ. Oh, that was a mistake. Clicked the button when I didn't want to. So yeah, up against tanks, I'm going to get stuck. It's not going to do a lot at all, and it's almost wiped out the infantry unit there. Again, we'll see how this goes against the chopper, I don't know. Clearly not going to have much of an effect, and yeah, again, they're almost going to wipe you out, so. Oh, we got one more tank to go. 6% there, not a lot. We'll try and tag out these guys. There we go. So that is all of our turns used.
Let the winds of war bring snow.
So he's using their commando, or their special effect, I suppose. So again, we're going to be in a rather large spot of bother here, because that is in essence the way that you refuel your units and rearm your units with ammunition and stuff. So that's not going to help in the slightest. See how the chopper v chopper goes attack wise. Ooh, not great. So it's basically wiped him out. I'd imagine the tank against the infantry is going to wipe that one out. Close enough too. And probably pretty close with this one as well, I would have thought. Yep. So as you can see, you really need to put in some thought into what you're doing. You can't just rush headlong into it. You can't, you need to look at where your units are positioned, where the enemy's units are likely to get positioned or to be able to attack you in the next turn. So quite a bit of strategy goes into it at the end of the day. And a fun little game. I mean, it doesn't, it's fairly simplistic in its styling, but by the same token, I think graphically it looks really good. And there we go, we've captured the enemy HQ there.
That takes care of that. Yeah.
This isn't over yet.
So there we go, we win that one. I don't think the overall score is going to be fantastic for this one. Oh, there you go, still got an A. But plenty of improvement that can be made there if you just, as I said, reposition your units a little bit. And win that one. So extra coins into the pile there. Next. Go back to the field training if you need. And you can spend those coins that we're racking up in the shop there. So we might just have a quick look in a moment.
My name's Hachi. Hachi's shop. Come buy something.
There you go. So that'll push us into the third mission of the campaign, but that's a bit of a brief look at Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot on the Nintendo Switch. Is it worth picking up? I would suggest yes. I've enjoyed the short amount of time I've put into it. As I've explained throughout, there's a fair bit of strategy involved. It does look fairly simplistic when you're playing it, but don't let that fool you. There is a fair bit of depth in the gameplay in terms of the different units you've got, how you go about winning, whether you tackle on or take on the enemy units head on, or whether you in fact like we did in that last mission, sort of sneak around the side, grab the enemy HQ and win it that way. So there is different ways to do it, and certainly it's going to get harder and more tactically imperative that you use your units wisely and position them wisely as you get further into the game, obviously. And then, clearly you've got Advance Wars 1 and then you've got 2. Once you've played through this campaign and you've enjoyed that game, you can move straight into number 2 as part of the package. So that's, as I said, brief look there for Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot on the Nintendo Switch. Thanks for joining us for another Let's Play on Geek Aloud. What else can you do with the channel? Like and subscribe, and you'll never miss it.